Stell, I'm sorry, I should be laughing, but when you see when you see the face of our guest when I played that intro, I played the intro and I could totally tell he was looking right like, what's that noise? What's that noise? If you don't,
he's not accustomed to modern technology. He's quite old, our guest tonight.
well, if you don't laugh, mate, you'll cry after tonight's performance. Obviously, West Ham got beat 3-1 at home to Manchester United. A game of two halves, really. It was a game of two halves.
Was indeed. Yep. Yeah, we were quite confident, weren't we, at half time?
Yeah.
We missed a whole load of chances. We were deservedly winning 1-0. They made the changes they needed, and I guess that's the quality difference between one manager and another, who identifies an issue and tries to address it sooner rather than later. And we kind of paid the price, I guess. You know.
Well, before we move into bringing our guest on, we have to do it, and I'm purposely not bringing him on so I can put this video on, and then I'll bring him on after. This video is, of course, sponsored by OneFootball. Check this video out.
West Ham's Iron United and OneFootball have partnered up for the month of December. OneFootball is everything you could possibly need in a football-related app. From live scores, stats, transfer news, it is everything that a football fan could possibly need in one. Now, what we need you guys to do is go over to our YouTube channel, look in the description, and you'll find a link to download OneFootball's app. Get involved. It's my go-to, and we are delighted to be teaming up with them for December.
I genuinely can't take our guest serious the way he looks every video I put on here, mate. I can't. So yes, of course, get downloading the app. It's a good app. It actually is a good app, to be fair. And then lastly, before we get started, of course, everyone's been asking us for it still. They've asked us for merchandise, and I have put on the link to our shop, to our website, where you can have a look and you can get our first ever bit of merchandise that we're quite proud of course, our little cheeky mug. A little cheeky mug. Again, I'm looking at the guest's face in the background. So check out that link. It'll take you to our website and we can do it. Anyway, without further ado, let's bring him on. Yes, it's been a while, but he's back on loan to West Ham United. It's Nige.
Good evening, mate.
You bring me on the day you launch mugs. Is there like something you're trying to tell me?
Well,
I sent my my grandchild on earlier, but obviously we've had to put him to bed now. So Jake, it was nice of you to cover during the game, but
listen, the day that West Ham welcome 2,000 fans back to the stadium. Obviously, Nigel, you were unfortunate enough not to get a ticket today.
Yes.
This is what they saw when they entered in the stadium. They had their temperatures taken, etc. And then this is what it looked like when the fans were outside the stadium.
I'd like that xylophone that they put up at the top
behind the players. Behind
you just needed like a big hammer. You could run along and like tap out that theme tune that you started with. You seem to have hired level 42's bass player.
He won't know level 42.
From reggae to level. I know who Mark King is. Don't you worry.
Not you. No, I'm talking about Anton.
No, he's referencing me. Yeah, he's referencing me. I'm used to it. But anyway, Nigel, could describe the game as a game of two halves.
I don't know. I think you're being a bit harsh because we should have gone. The fact that we didn't get a second goal in the first half, Bowen had a greater chance in the start of the second half. So
yeah.
I think more likely that they came to life for the last half hour. Man United. We still want the thing that we don't do well is keep the ball. Sometimes. And when we try to do the triangles, we always get it wrong. And we're very left-sided now. So it seems to be we were trying to play a lot of balls, Masuaku, Creswell, into Fornals. And generally they'd lose the ball when they were mucking about with it, down on touchlines. And, their first goal, I'm sure we'll get into it, but at the end of the day, I said earlier, that's our best performance out of the last 4 games.
Yeah.
I didn't think we played that bad. The 3-1 scoreline flattered them. But
I agree with you, mate.
That is, they've always the thing, and that's what you get when you play teams like Man United that have got a good front line. Is they can always step it up when they need to. That's what Villa didn't have. If Villa had a front line like that, it would have been a different story last week. Those 3 players, and the fact that they brought Rashford on and Fernandes on to start the second half, that's the 3 with Greenwood. You know, I think if they'd have started with them, it might have been a different story.
Well, let's have a look at the 2 starting lineups, put them up there. Of course, West Ham, we were forced changed. Haller started for Antonio, of course, and then Man United's starting lineup, we're missing the 2 most effective players, which were on the bench, who did, like you said, Nigel, came on and made such a huge difference. But if you're going through the first half still, I mean, what can you say? Was it we had chances and we just didn't take them?
We had a lot of chances and we didn't take them, and it was really unfortunate. And we kind of alluded to that perhaps might come back to bite us, and it sure did. We should have been going into the second half, end of the first half, probably 2 or 3-0 up. You know, I know a lot of people have been slagging Haller off yet again today. I didn't see much wrong with his performance, but he stubbed his foot. You know, when he went to hang on, Nige. He did the hard work. He went past all the players, went past the keeper. He just lost his footing, stubbed his foot, and because he should have buried that, shouldn't he? And we had Fornals. He had a chance in the first half. He should have, perhaps, you know, the header should have gone in. And like Nigel said, we came out in the second half, still in the game. Bowen on his right foot, on his correct foot. Didn't, you know, missed the target as well. So it was kind of a little bit frustrating. And going in, that's the header. Yeah, going in at half time, only 1-0 up. I think we were unfortunate, but they made the changes that made, you know, changed the game. Their substitutions.
What's your thoughts, Nige?
You poo-pooed my comment about.
Yeah, I think you've given him a bit of an easy pass in he just stubbed his toe. That's poor. I'm not a Haller knocker. I don't buy into the lazy tag a lot of the time that he's thrown at him, because he walks around and he doesn't smile and he don't really celebrate that he's not giving the effort. I think he does run around a lot. He got himself into a good position. Top quality strikers finish that. Yeah, and I'm not going to mention the price or whatever, but top quality players finish that, and I think that shows that he's not a top quality striker, because actually should have shot before he took it round the keeper.
Possibly, yeah. I think he was trying to make double sure, wasn't he, by going round the keeper, and then it was just. I just think it was unfortunate the way. Look. I'm not disagreeing. I think he should have scored. Absolutely. And maybe he took maybe 1 or 2 touches more than he should have done. As soon as he went round the keeper, he could have put it in with his left foot, maybe. But it went away from him, and by the time he recovered it, he kind of lost his foot and stubbed his foot. But I don't disagree. I think he should have buried it. You know, I don't disagree. But we should have been,
lads.
We should have been clear.
I'm going to have to love and leave you. I'm leaving this show over to you because I need to go and put the kids to bed and help the missus. I've had enough of my freedom for the day. Nigel, you took up most of my time. Stell, you took up a lot of my time. So I need to head. I'm going to leave you over to Grandad Stell, as you can see with his name and his profile there. So.
Oh, you cheeky bastard.
And make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll leave it to the rest of them. Take it.
Do you want to send Jake a link? I think we said we'll send him a link. So if you want to do that,
right.
And then Nigel can meet young Jake. Okay,
bedtime.
I know it is. Yeah. So moving on. I mean, after the first sort of hour, we were still in the game, and then they took control, didn't they? Really? They started to carve us up a bit.
There's obviously going to be a lot of argument about the first goal.
Yeah.
And I can understand why it was given. and in that there's no camera that looks down the line.
Yeah, but there
So
is a
there's-
linesman.
Yeah, but that's different. Yeah, so people are looking at VAR. Yeah, now the problem we're getting is linesmen have probably had their instructions changed. Yeah, because now they are told to leave things and flag at the last minute and let VAR get involved.
Yeah.
Before VAR, a linesman would have been watching that ball and flagging it for going out. Now they're probably, he's trying to keep up with play, so he's getting in position, leaving it to VAR.
So really, it's kind of it's damaging that the way linesmen are meant to be involved in the game, isn't it?
Well, you can remove them actually from the game.
Yeah.
Because this has highlighted a problem now where before VAR, I stand by, I think the linesman would have given a throw for that.
Yeah.
Now with VAR, he's not looking for that. And the problem you got is, if you're going to have, if you look at goal line technology, we've got a camera that looks along the goal lines. Well, they haven't got cameras that look along the sidelines. So if you ain't got a camera, there's no way on this earth you can tell if that ball goes out of play.
Is that what VAR needs to extend to, or do we just decide that we start campaigning to be against VAR?
If you're asking me, you're asking the wrong person, because I don't want anything to do with VAR.
Yeah.
At all. Scrap the lot, go back to the referee decision on the pitch, and the referee's decision is final.
Do you think that was do you think that was the turning point of the game, where that goal stood, and then they had the momentum, even though it was only 1-1, that gave them that spur? Because they started to carve us up after that, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't know if that's the turning point, because if you look, they'd won 8 away games on the bounce.
Yeah.
They've come back from behind, I think, in the last couple of games to win, including in a worse position. They were 2-0 down against Southampton to win 3-2. So when you look at it, Man United have got that ability to do what they did. So I'm not sure it was a turning point, but obviously they upped their game. They're back in it. Let's go now, because it's given the belief we can kick on. We've done it before, we'll do it again. And that's what they've done.
I mean, the obvious question I'm going to ask is Solskjaer noticed the issues and made the changes to try and affect the game. Should Moyes, we always seem to debate the same thing over and over again about Moyes' substitutions and when he makes them. Should he have made them sooner? And then I'm going to ask you what you think of the Bowen substitution, because I find that very odd.
Should he made them sooner? I don't know, because did they really change the game that much? Did they change the outcome of the game?
Well, I advocated when it was still like 1-0, 1-1, and it looked like the game was beginning to be controlled more by Man United. I suggested maybe we need to pack the midfield up a bit and maybe bring Noble on in order to pack it up, to stop the ball, because they were beginning to find the balls out to the left quite a bit. Sofal had a nightmare second half, but maybe if you had another midfielder,
you say pack the midfield, but if you look, even in the second half, if you look at it, we were playing more with 4 at the back than we were with 5. Masuaku was pushed further forward and playing in front of Creswell. Creswell had a lot of the ball out by the touchline. You don't do that when you're playing the left of the centre half.
That's true. And yet we weren't really bothered on that side of the field. It was more on the right side that our problem seemed to.
No, but then again, that's what I was saying earlier, where I felt we were left-sided centric in the way we played the game, and that we seemed to be pushing the ball when we were attacking permanently down our left. In regards to substitution, I don't know. Sometimes I think, is it the same players every week getting subbed for the same players to come on?
Well, this is what leads me on to Bowen. I mean, I find that we know that Lanzini is not a wide player. He prefers to play centrally. Fornals came off, and you could argue that Benrahma came on almost like for like, left side of the attack. Bowen, that he seemed to be one of our outlets, and Lanzini doesn't play the same way as Bowen, and I think it lost something by bringing Bowen off. And also it kind of lost a little bit in the defensive side of the play as well.
But you're asking him to make a change, to change the way you play. So I'm not saying he's right or wrong, but if you're bringing on a like-for-like player, you're not actually changing the way you're playing. So by bringing Lanzini on for Bowen, you're going to have a different way of playing there. You're not going to have someone going down wide, cutting in. You're going to have someone more comfortable. I think Lanzini's a better ball player and a better passer of the ball than Bowen. Perhaps he was looking at that. I would argue, actually, that ain't the way. You ain't going to pass the ball through the middle of Man United's defence. You got to actually get round the back of them and bring the ball across and try and get the ball between the goalkeeper and spin their centre half so they're running back towards their goalkeeper.
Which is, in a way, is what we were doing in the first half.
Yeah. So in that way, no, I wouldn't have subbed Lanzini on for Bowen. But, he hasn't got Yarmolenko yet, has he?
No.
If you look out wide, who did he have to bring on? The one thing I get that Kufal was having a bit of a torrid game out wide. He was I wouldn't say unprotected, but they were obviously concentrating more on him.
Yeah,
on his side of the pitch. But then I don't get bringing on Ben Johnson for him. I don't get how that strengthened our back line. And the game was, if you're going to get yourself back into the game, you're going to bring an attacker on, I thought. And I'm not saying it was so foul. You could have kept him on. And, it just seemed to me, that seemed to be, I'm going to take the 3-1.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
The one thing I will say is, and it's good to be disappointed to lose 3-1 to Man United.
Yeah, and to be disappointed that we dropped down to 7th.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I think we're still higher than anyone thought we would be at any point in the season.
And as people say, mate, only 23 points to go to safety.
Well, yes, the thing, it could be funny that, I think there was a game put out. It was our anniversary of a game that we won. I think it was the 1975. We beat Man United 2-1 at home, and it put West Ham 3rd. Now you think this is at the beginning of December. West Ham were 3rd or 4th in the table in 1975, and we finished 18th. And we didn't win a game for the last 16 games.
I hope that's not a sign of things to come.
The old joke when we were kids still, or when I was a kid, you'd have been a bit older, now more of an adult, was that, West Ham come down with the Christmas decorations.
Yeah, well, mate, oh, yeah.
So, the funny thing is nowadays we would love to be up with the Christmas decorations, which we seem to be this year. So
let's bring someone who... Yeah, go on.
No, so, I'm trying to be a bit chipper. I'm not trying to be chipper. I'm not disappointed that we've lost 3-1.
Yeah, I'm not. I think the disappointment for me is not so much that we've lost 3-1 against Man U. It's that we were in what seemed to be a commanding position by half time. We looked comfortable. We looked composed. We took it to them. I think it was the flip of what happened in the second half, or like in the last half an hour, which was a little bit like, and some people said, I had a mate text and go, is this the old West Ham? You've just said, we're going down with the Christmas decorations. I think that the slight fear in the back of our minds is, are we now going to start this slippery slope of losing? Next week we've got Leeds away from home. That ain't going to be easy. Then we've got a tricky one again. I think it's Palace midweek, isn't it? After that, which we'll all be at, mate. by the sounds of it, given that none of us have got tickets for today's game.
Well, you got to look at it. The 2,000 or fans that were there, that's their one game. Because you think apparently there was about 30,000 fans paid full whack going to the ballot, so only 28,000 the next game.
Yeah,
I feel sorry for 1,999 of them that they got their one game and it was a defeat.
Are we implying that the
not implying anything at all still?
So we're not thinking that there's a certain individual who got. So you don't believe he was there?
Well, Alf was there, wasn't he?
Alf turned his ticket down because he couldn't take his boy with him.
Oh, did he? Oh, he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Oh, well, so I beg to differ then.
Yeah, so we're not talking about another one person out of the 2,000. I know we bloody well are. Let's bring someone who's younger than both of us on. I'm younger than Stella, I think. You cheeky little git. Jake, say hello to Nigel. Nigel, meet Jake. Is this the first time that you're on a chat together? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've got to take me out of Lions United. You are leading the YouTube fraternity in having a mascot. No YouTube channel has brought on a mascot before. So, fair play to Lions United. Leading the way. You go for it, Jake.
I'll tell you what, this young lad, he will be, by the time he gets to your age, which is going to be God knows how many years ahead.
Be depressed.
He's going to be the new Nigel Khan in the future. He's going to have so much knowledge of West Ham. He'll be right. I'll tell you what, he'll be your ghostwriter when he's old enough to do it for you. Let's put it that way. He'll write your memoirs, Nigel, and enhance them.
Dear, oh dear.
Anyway, Jake, second half, mate. What do you think?
Well, they outplayed us, and that was what it was, really. They outplayed us. Greenwood, Fernandes, and Rashford together just completely tore us to pieces.
Yeah. So moving forward, it was 1-1, and then it kind of went into a bit of a blur after that. It just seemed to be, I wouldn't say wave after wave of attack, but we sort of didn't get much of a sniff after the Bowen miss, did we, Nigel?
No. I mean, as I said before earlier, we'd taken the Bowen off. The chances that we created and spurned was when we got behind them and brought the ball across the towards the back post. And the Fornals header in the first half, he put wide. Bowen with that second half, I mean, it was literally, I think, 3 or 4 minutes after that, when they got their goal after Bowen was there to make it 2-0 at the back post.
Yeah. Jake?
Well, I think, we missed so many chances in that first half, and then that Bowen one as well. And she's saying the Haller haters are back out again, but he had a good game, I thought, and he just missed it. But as you said, Nigel, a good striker would have put that in the back of the net, but hey ho.
Well, let's focus on Haller. I mean, he gets an awful lot of stick, a hell of a lot of stick. Is it justified? I mean, for me personally, I've been trying to big him up for quite some time, and I've seen a change in Haller's attitude over the past couple of games. There's a lot of talk about. Let's go back to last week. Nigel, should Antonio have started, or should he have stuck with Haller for that game, which might have continued the confidence he seemed to be building up for this game as well? I don't think he actually had a bad game today.
I mean, hindsight's an easy thing to have, isn't it? When you look at this, should have Antonio started. The thing that I thought was strange is that Moyes' MO is you don't change a winning team. And if the man in the shirt scores a goal and has a good game, he wears the shirt. Now, at the end of the day, Haller against Sheffield United probably had one of his better games. I thought he'd done well enough, and we'd beat Fulham. It did okay. He did what was asked of him. It doesn't. He plays a different way, and this is the thing. I think under Moyes, we're sort of Moyes likes to play it with Antonio, who holds the ball up better and has more involvement in the play. Haller, I think, is just, I don't know about a box player. It's very more central than drifting out wide, and I don't think he's got a great touch to bring other players into the into the play to support him. So he needs that to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's obviously turned out to be the wrong move, isn't it? Because Antonio obviously wasn't match fit, and this is the thing. Why is he not bringing? Haller lost his place, if you remember, through injury.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why we went to Antonio up front was because Haller got injured. So, and then we had no other strikers. They went to Antonio, and Antonio started scoring goals. And then there was, you know, Moyes was happy with the way he played and stuck with that. So I feel for him a bit there that he got the hook. But when he came on last week, I thought he did well against Villa.
Exactly, I did too. I'm, you know, I know you. I think you agree as well, Jake. I know you expect your striker to score goals. Obviously, that's what you buy them for. But you look at their all-round play as well, and you just think Haller looked really up for it last week. I think he looked really up for it today as well, Jake. What do you think?
Yeah, well, as Nigel said, his attitude has definitely gone up, and I mean, it's nice to see that. Obviously, we didn't want Antonio to get injured again, but he has. But it's now given Haller some more time to prove himself, and I think he has proven himself with the half he had against Villa and the game today. I thought he had a very good game today, and the Haller haters, I think they got to get. I just don't think they're. I don't think Haller's rightly just kind of slated. I think.
Yeah, I mean, it could be we're without Antonio for probably another 2 or 3 weeks, quite possibly. I know it's a bit shrouded in secrecy at the moment, but it could be.
Yeah.
So we've got to stick by Haller. There's no other option at the moment, is there? I mean, the other
Well,
thing.
I think there is actually.
Go on.
And it's possible that you could play Benrahma up front and try that without Haller.
Okay, that's interesting.
I can't see Moyes going for a 4-4-2.
No, he won't. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because next week, I mean, we'll talk about Leeds, you know, throughout the week. But next week against Leeds, it's going to be Moyes is going to play to type, isn't he? He's going to sit back. You know, I think the one thing I was surprised about today was that I thought we were going to try and sit back and absorb pressure, and we didn't seem to be doing that in the first half. We kind of went for him a little bit. We had a bit between our teeth, and I just think, you know, it's what you said earlier, Jake. You know, I think the better team got the better of the whole game in the end. But he'll be back to type. So would he put Benrahma as an outlet? Is he more mobile than Haller, I guess?
Well, I don't think that he should really go down that route. I think Benrahma should stay on the wing. We've only just bought him. Let's keep him in his rightful position, I think. Keep Haller there. We've got to keep the confidence in Haller until perhaps Antonio's back, even if Antonio can get back in the side. If Haller keeps playing well, I don't think we should go down any other route, whether it's Bowen or Benrahma. For me personally, let's just hopefully start Benrahma next week, and let's see what he really can do with a full 90 minutes against Leeds.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
But
so
who do you drop then? Who do you drop for Benrahma if you're going to play him wide?
Fornals, give him a rest. I think. I thought he was well off the pace today. I think.
I'll be honest. I'll be inclined to agree with that. I think what that might do is it might weaken us a little bit because we know what Fornals does in terms of, you know, Moyes likes him because of the running he does, you know, and he gets back in and tries to, you know, he's a workhorse, isn't he? I think Benrahma tries that, but it's not his best trait, is it? Tracking back and stuff like that. It kind of, there's always a dangerous challenge when he does that sort of thing. A little bit like, not a Man United player, an ex-Man United player, Paul Scholes. You know, great at going forward, but whenever he got in the tackle, he always used to give a free kick away and stuff like that. I kind of see a little bit of Benrahma in that. You know, he'll be fantastic going forward, but would he be a bit of a liability when he's got to track back?
But that's why I think that you actually could play him as the central striker. I think he's got the ability to. I mean, he was unlucky; he put one over the bar, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know, if he was more central, you know, nobody thought Antonio could play central.
Mm-hmm.
And bearing in mind, we had tried him there in the past under Bilic, and it didn't really work in goal scoring. He didn't really get the goals under Bilic and under Pellegrini. Nearly enough, all his goals come when he played wide right, not when he played down the middle. So, you know, Moyes has done it before with Arnautovic. He's done it now with Antonio. Could he take Benrahma and get him into the middle of the box, scoring goals? Because when I look at it, I think Benrahma's got the ability to do that. I do believe that he has got the ability to do that. I think he could possibly be a better finisher than Haller, actually.
It's funny because pre-season, before we sold Diangana, I was suggesting that maybe that was the next winger that could turn into a bit of a front man. I thought, you know, maybe. And now that you said, now that we've replaced Diangana with Benrahma, I'd be inclined to agree. But what message does that get? I mean, it's meant to be a review, but we might as well ask it. What message does that give to Haller if he ends up being dropped for Benrahma to start up front? It's got to be.
Yeah, well, it gives him another kind of blow, really, doesn't it? Because he did it with Antonio last week, and I just think we can't do that. We've got to give Haller the chance. I've just seen a comment. I don't see Benrahma as being quite physical enough. I don't know whether perhaps he's got that physicality in him to be a striker, but I don't think personally he should kind of drop Haller again. I think he's been dropped and he's come back out today and said, no, play me, I think, for me.
So where did we lose the game today then? Let's go back to given that it's meant to be a review. Where did we lose the game today? What was the change that saw us? I'm not going to say we were comfortable, but we were in the game. You know, 1-0 up at half time. You know, went into the second half. We had our chances, and then like around about the 60-minute mark or so, that's when it kind of seemed to fall apart. What was the change? You know, what happened to West Ham on the 60-minute mark for us to then disappear in the way that we did?
I don't think anything happened to West Ham. I think it was Man United that changed.
Yeah.
I think that is the difference, and it's that Man United, as I say, when you've got the ability to bring on Rashford and Fernandes, when you've already got Paul Pogba, who can do nothing for 80 minutes or for 90 minutes, but with that one spark will change a game. When you can bring Juan Mata on, look at the ball Mata played for their third goal. You know, we're not talking about that either. What a ball from Mata.
Yeah.
You know, when you've got that ability defensively, this is a poor Man United defensively team. We knew we could get at them. We knew that if we got at them, we could get goals. And perhaps it goes back to what you're saying. You was expecting us to sit back, try to catch them off the break, but we didn't do that. We did something different. And perhaps, I don't know if we got carried away with our attacking, but if you look at the chances created, I don't think we were too far that behind Man United, and that Man United did most of their damage, as we know, in the last half an hour. It was Man United that changed the way they play rather than us throw it away. That's why I'm not really too despondent.
So that goes back to my question then, mate. You know, I know you said, you know, the substitutions didn't make a difference. Were they the right substitutions to make? Benrahma, I would say, yeah. I kind of get that one. I go back to the Lanzini substitution for Bowen, you know, and there was a comment here about, Benrahma and Bowen supporting Allaire. Would that been a better proposition? Would that have got us back into the game rather than dropping Bowen and bringing Lanzini on?
Yeah, I really do think that as we said on the end of the match day live, I think that was a very strange decision, and I would have gave Bowen at least another 5 minutes, considering I thought he was the best player on the pitch in the first half. I would have gave him a bit longer just to see what that front three can do together. But Moyes made another 2 subs. He made one right one and he made one wrong one for me.
Yeah, Nige.
Yeah, Bowen seems to be the fall guy for me for Moyes. He always
why though, mate? I don't understand that with him. Why? Why is that the case?
I think because if you look at the quality of our bench, he's brought on our best players.
Yeah.
So he's sort of in a way limited in how he can change it. So is he going to? Who else is he going to take off realistically if he's looking to try and improve it, but at the same time not change the shape too much? It's going to be the same old players. It's either going to be Masuaku, Fornals, Bowen. Who else is? Yeah, that's the. If you look, I don't know. Go back. Let's go back at some point. Perhaps that's what we'll have to do. Go back and look at how many different players he substituted. And I can't remember. I bet Bowen's probably only lasted 90 minutes once.
You're absolutely right. In fact, there was a stat that I looked at last week. He's been one of the most subbed players this season.
Because when Moyes turns around and looks 50 yards behind him at the bench, he can just make out. He looks at it and he looks at that bench and thinks, what's he got? He's got Lanzini sitting there. So he looks at who's he bringing on. Well, he's sort of hamstrung by the ability of his bench.
The Lanzini loving is coming back, isn't it? With Moyes, normally
Lanzini would be in the first 11.
Yeah, but he hasn't done it for so long, and we know that he had the bad injury, and that took its toll, etc. And then he was completely out of, sort of just not with it for quite a while. And I know he talked about at the beginning of the season that he's come back stronger. He feels fitter, etc., etc. And I think people are sort of crying out for him to pull a miracle out of the hat again. By scoring the wonder goal that he did against Spurs. That isn't going to happen every time he comes on, is it? But the Moyes loving for him, I think if he could.
But who do you bring on different? Look at the bench that he had.
For me,
and then I'll say to you, who do you bring on different?
For me, when we went 1-1 and it looked like we were, Man U were getting on top of the game. Oddly enough, for me, I would have brought Noble on, like I said earlier, and packed that midfield out, and Benrahma to replace Fornals, and I would have kept the rest as it was. And I think that would have given us a tougher structure in the middle of the park, because we were finding what we were finding was that the likes of Pogba were picking up the ball quite easily, and Maguire was coming way off the defensive line and picking the ball up almost on the halfway line, and sometimes venturing into our own half. That we were being pressed so much into our own half. They were pushing us back, and we needed something to control the play. And for me, it would have been, ironically, I would have put Noble alongside Bryson Soucek to try and stifle it a little bit. I think the Benrahma decision was absolutely spot on, but I just think, you're absolutely right though, Nigel. The fall guy seems to be, he looks behind him and he goes, what can I do to bring Lanzini on? Because he's he can be a game changer. It's going to be Bowen. And I just think that's a wrong decision sometimes.
Yeah, but he's already took Fornals off Benrahma.
Who else can take?
Who else? That's what I'm saying. You're not going to bring Lanzini on for Haller, so you're not going to bring. You're going to bring Lanzini on possibly for Masuaku, and then he's got to go to 4 at the back.
Yeah, well, maybe that's what the game required. No, maybe change that formation. Or
Yeah,
would that have been, or would we have ended up being spanked 5-1 instead of 3?
well, I mean, at the end of the day, Greenwood missed a great chance for a fourth. He may have been flagged offside or VAR'd offside, as
Yeah.
we're better off saying nowadays, for it. But there was always that chance. But if we're caught on an attacking play, sometimes I just shrug my shoulders and go, "Oh well, that's it," and I can accept that a bit better. But
And here's a comment. Garino, Moyes could have gone 4 at the back, brought Lanzini on central midfield. Moyes reluctant to budge, it seems, from his formation, even when we were losing. It's interesting because in the build up to the game, we had a Man United fan on who was saying quite the same thing. We asked her what she thought of Moyes, when he was at Man U, and she kind of alluded to what we sort of see here, that he's a bit of a stickler. It's my way or no way. And in a way, that's what you want the manager to do. You want the manager to make the decision. But he seems to be quite, it doesn't seem to want to change things in order to affect games to go our way. Do you know what I mean? He seems reluctant to do that, which was why it was a surprise against Villa last week that he made 2 substitutions at half time. I think we were all shocked, weren't we, that he made 2 subs at half time.
Well, he is reactive rather than proactive normally.
Yeah. There you are. Yeah, he is reactive.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the on OneFootball. I'm just having a look at the subs bench we had today, and we're very, very thin. We had Diop, Lanzini, Noble, Benrahma, Johnson, Snodgrass, and Randolph. Now that's very thin bench, really, isn't it? All and the only other kind of attacking option we had was Snodgrass, and that's it. And I think that just shows we're very thin, I think, aren't we?
Yeah, and I think we kind of knew that, though. I think we, going in. But the irony is, Moyes keeps saying that he quite likes playing with a smaller squad. But yeah, I think what it is for me is that the squad is not diverse enough. Because you can play with a smaller squad, but it's what you're alluding to, Nigel. If you don't have a diverse type of player on your bench, if it's always going to be Lanzini to be the answer, but then you're sacrificing an attack-minded player for him to come on, it kind of defeats the objective in a way, really.
Yeah, well done to Jake with mentioning the sponsors, by the way. It's something you'd never get from me, whoever they are.
Or me.
Did you? Anton's like that in the background. Well
Anton's like, thank God someone's mentioned them.
One app. I would never heard of it, one app.
OneFootball, mate. OneFootball.
Yeah, OneFootball. That just shows you what I know, doesn't it? OneFootball. Well done, Jake. You'll be a pro, son. You'll be a pro. So, I mean, if you look, in a way, that's why Grady Diagana was sacked. Sacked. Was sacrificed.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of my own position now. Was sacrificed because when you looked at it, while we all did like when he come out with a comment, we got, Sullivan's back, we've got 7 or 8 wide players that can play there. He weren't wrong, though, at the end of the day, because who have we got injured that's coming back to fitness to make the difference? Well, only Yarmolenko. And actually, Yarmolenko is a bowing, wide type player who actually wouldn't be different, would he? That's better. Keep it like that, because when we're in free like that, my face looks really fat still. I'm just staring at thinking that pie mash like today. I think I had too much.
So okay, let's wrap this up, because it's disappointing for me. It's this. I know what you said earlier. I'm not. You're not too disappointed, Nigel. But I'm not, because when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, we're 7th in the league, a third of the way through the season. Are we just under 7th in the league? Man United are a good team, and they've proven that by the number of times. I think they've now won something like 5. I think they've come from behind about when they've been something like 12 games, 4, 5, 6 games, something like that. So, they're masters. They're beginning to be masters at that now. So I'm not disappointed at where we are so far this season. But where do we go from here? Leeds next week. What are we thinking? A lot of people are asking, do you think Benrahma will now start in that game? Do we think that Moyes... No, say that again, sorry.
I said I've been saying for Benrahma to start for the last 4 weeks, and it's got to be next week, surely.
Well, here we are with the situation we're in, Nigel. You said, rightly so, Moyes never changes a winning team. The team hasn't won. Does he now use that excuse platform to now decide, I'm going to make 1 or 2 changes? Will he do it?
Possibly, because I think it's the first game we've lost since we signed Benrahma.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps now's the opportunity for Jake to get his wish, and probably a lot of, near enough the rest of the fan base. Let's see what Benrahma can do starting. But it's possible he may have to change his tactics to get the best out of him. But me, I'd like to see.
That's a lot for Moyes to do, isn't it?
Well,
not only does he have to change the lineup, he's going to have to change. He's going to have to think about changing tactics. We know what he's like. He's a creature of habit. He ain't going to go there.
No, that's the thing. For me, you drop 4 nails, possibly a bit harsh, but you drop 4 nails for Benrahma. And what I would do is, I would say to Benrahma, I'd give him the old free range, which we used to give fair players, and say, go where you want.
Yeah.
But then the others have to be rigid. So the back 4 or 5 have to be rigid. The central 3 has to be rigid. And then it allows him to be near and play off of Haller. Haller has to be rigid in the middle. And then you give him and let him float about and see what he can do. Because if we don't tie him down to a certain position, it's possible that Leeds won't even know where he's playing anyway.
Yeah, that's a really good
and he
point.
may get into the space.
But
Will Moyes do that? Sorry, go on, Jake.
Haller as well. If he plays him near Haller, that could then benefit him as well, which could help him as well.
Yeah, agreed. Will he do that?
No.
Right, let's wrap it up. Okay, disappointed, but not disappointed overall of the season so far. We had it in our grasp. We thought, I got a bit cocky at halftime. I really did. I thought we were gonna win it pretty easy. I didn't see anything in Man U that was going to suggest they were going to pull it back. But there you are. Right. Okay. Any last thoughts before we go, chaps?
One thing I will say is that worse West Ham teams have beaten better Man United teams. But then worse Man United teams have beaten better West Ham teams.
That is very true. Yeah, that is very true. Any last thoughts, Jake?
No, I think that's it.
Cool. So what else are we up to? Well, I'm back tomorrow night. If Nigel can stay awake for my show, I'll be back tomorrow night. And when Skies, yes, the transfers are back. I promised. I deliberately didn't want to talk about transfer stories, but I said I'd do them in December, and we're in December. It's going to be a long show because there's 2 football games to talk about. There's all the weekly news as well, and transfer stories just to make you lot happy. Trust me, it's a load of shit out there, so I might as well tell you all the shit that's out there, unless we know otherwise, Nigel.
That'd be telling, wouldn't it?
I just want to get a quick picture up because it's someone I thought I spotted in the crowd today, but I'm not too sure. So let's see if we can get a picture of the crowd up. Nigel, can you see anyone? I mean, just have a look at right at the back there. Is anyone you notice, or like someone that we know quite, or someone you know quite well from more than just a podcast, or do you not think he's there?
Officially he wasn't there still.
And then we'll have to keep it that way then, won't we? All right, I think it's time to go. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for sticking with us throughout the whole day. It's been a long day. Sorry I couldn't get all your comments in, but my dinner is ready and I'm actually starving, so I need to go and eat. Nigel, always a pleasure. Jake, always a pleasure as well. I might need a guest tomorrow, Mr. Khan. I don't know if you'll be awake or not. If you're up for it,
You can try your luck.
I'll try my luck. No worry. Thank you all for watching. Watch the West Ham Weekly tomorrow. Watch the shows coming up during the week, and of course, we'll be back again for the preview of the Leeds game and all that sort of stuff. I would do all the advertising, but I normally leave that to our salesman, the
Here we
Scottish
go.
Kilmarnock fan.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently, we've got mugs for sale. So if you want a mug, go to our website and find the details there. I don't know where the effing website is. I don't even know what it's called. So, and thanks to our OneFootball sponsors as well. It's been a pleasure. Speak to you all soon. Well, see you all tomorrow. Have a good evening.